Welcome, Marky Marks. It's time once again for the RAWCAST. I'm Blake Carter and joined by Awesome Will Rawson. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing really good. Awesome weather outside. First time we've had 70-degree weather in about a good month or so here in Kansas, so doing good.
Which sounds great, but then when you put into context what month we're in, we had it in February and now we're having it in March. So
Right.
we're days in Kansas. You can always follow us along at Twitter. I'm at Radio Carter 101, and Will is.
I'm at Will Rawson. Pretty simple.
Yeah, he's the easiest one. Mine,
At
everybody
Will
had.
Rawson.
There's like 12 Blake Carters and stuff. It's fantastic. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Raw and a little bit what's been happening in the world of wrestling. Actually, most of the exciting stuff happened pretty much outside of wrestling this week, but as we draw closer to Mania, we do have some things that we're going to address, but we're actually going to save that a little bit towards the last. Let's talk about the hot button topic right now, which is Bill DeMott. And if you wouldn't mind reading that Twitter quote.
No problem. All right. Of course, we know the Bill DeMott scandal has been going on for the past couple weeks. And then just a couple days ago, Bill DeMott resigned, and he gave a message via Twitter. It says, "At Bill DeMott, I deny the recent allegations made about me. However, to avoid any embarrassment or damage to the WWE, I've decided to step down from my role effective immediately."
What did you take from that?
Well, all along for the past couple weeks, as these allegations, more and more superstars, NXT developmental stars, more so than past superstars, but they've been coming out, and more allegations have been coming. All along, Bill's been denying them. Basically, that's all he's been saying, and just a couple days later, after they more and more come out, he gives this message, and it's just like, well, are you giving up? I mean, what is the point of leaving? Either you knew you were getting ready to be fired, or it was going to get a lot worse. So I think it was just to avoid the official being fired from WWE.
Do you think it was a forced resign or a regular resign?
I feel it was forced. I really do feel it was forced because he knew, I think Vince or whoever, maybe probably Triple H more so than Vince, since it's more in the NXT area. I think they had a good sit down and said, hey, you got two options. Either you're going to be done here, we're going to have to release you, or you can resign on your own. And I think he took that resigning route just to save a little bit of his reputation, I think.
And we know how much WWE's in the covering their butts kind of mode when it comes to any kind of bullying, harassment. And we've heard in years before that Bill DeMott or Hugh Morris or whatever you want to call him, he's kind of a bully. He's a tad bit, maybe people have claimed he's a racist. We don't know, personally. But I know Bob Hawley in his book kind of called him an asshole. I mean, that's a direct quote. We don't really know. We wish Bill the best, but I do have to ask you, what do you think this turns for NXT? Who do you think takes his place? What do you think happens for NXT now?
I don't know, because he was the head trainer over at the developmental, has been for several years now. I mean, maybe this is why they're bringing back superstars such as Brian Kendrick. I don't know if they're going to be regular superstars. Maybe they're bringing them there for more of a trainer purpose. We also got Rhino that just arrived as well. Maybe they'll be taking over shortly as the next round of trainers coming up. A little younger class, some guys that are more relatable. Bill DeMott, he's a great trainer and everything, but I think wrestling has changed a little bit, and he got a little bit out of touch with how the younger superstars are nowadays. Maybe they can relate more to younger trainers such as Kendrick, whoever they're going to bring in. I don't know. There's probably going to be another one or two that might step up and surprise us, whether we know them as ex-superstars or just somebody completely different. But I think it's just the fact that wrestling has changed and Bill hadn't, and it's time for some new coaches to be down there in developmental.
I would agree. I would think he still has kind of that good old boys mentality, and you can't have that with an open traded company. Now, it could have been something very, very minor. It really could have. But with WWE, you have to watch your back. You just have to grow up a little bit more, I would say. But if they were to bring anybody in, Adam Pearce has been brought in several times for guest mentoring in NXT. I would love to see him, or who was in charge of SFCW before they let him go, and he did the most work with Dean Ambrose and members of the Shield, was Dr. Tom Pritchard. And I would love to see Dr. Tom come back, because he did a tremendous job, and he's been a WWE guy through and through. I think if they brought him back, I don't think there would be any missteps.
Right. I think, like I said, I don't know who they're going to be bringing back. I'm sure it'll kind of be revamped. I'm sure there's going to be a lot. The story's going to go on for a good another month or so, how they're making changes to get over those things, whether they happened or not. So we'll see how it develops. A lot of controversy going down there in the NXT area, but supposedly a lot of the superstars current on the roster, on the main roster and NXT roster, they've been openly tweeting about how, the day is saved, he's gone, the bully's gone. A lot of them seem ecstatic that Bill is out of NXT.
Yeah, it makes it look like it may have been a lot bigger than we were ever allowed. I don't know. A lot of people have compared Bill to how JBL used to be in the locker rooms in the early 2000s. If there's any truth to that, then it's probably best that he is gone. But I did think, I was reading some of the comments on some of the forums and dirt sheet news sites and stuff. There was one commenter, and I wish I had screen captured it because it made me laugh so hard, that says, "Oh, thank God Bill's gone. He's the reason I traded in WWE 2K15. He shouts too much."
Oh, man, he does. It drove me nuts. Like, that game doesn't really help his character at all, because that's all he does. He sounds like the biggest a-hole the whole time. Because you're playing the game, it's perfectly quiet. You're just in the NXT, the fitness gym or whatever, the performance center. Yeah, it's perfectly quiet. It's too quiet. It's awkwardly quiet. But the whole time you have Bill just yelling the same maybe 10 different sentences the whole time, just over and over. It doesn't help his character at all.
I haven't played that. I'd have to see it, but the one episode where they brought Total Divas to the NXT training center and they brought Vinny, he shouted the entire time at Vinny. I'm like, okie dokie, he's not going to make it, so all right, but whatever. And
I was just now thinking about this, since Bill's now gone, we also had confirmation that WWE is bringing Tough Enough back to the USA Network. I guess he's not going to be on there anymore.
Unless they've already filmed it?
Yeah. That would be kind of, I don't know, though, what they would do if they did film some of that and he's on there,
I don't know. Since he resigned, they could get away with it. It wasn't like he was fired for anything wrong. The way he kind of worded it in his Twitter message, it was kind of like, well, to save everybody face, I'm just going to leave. They could play it off as he was bullied to leave one way or the other. I'm not sure. But we wish Bill the best of luck, and we're sure Hugh Morris will show up in some sort of fashion someday. Okie dokie. Let's talk a little bit about Raw in Mania. It was brought up in Paul's promo that good old Brock Lesnar was at UFC. What do you make of this?
Oh, man. I think it's a bigger deal than some people are thinking of. Of course, we had Brock Lesnar the Monday before walking out. Him and Vince got into some kind of debate, a little argument. It sounded like a pretty violent argument from all the reports. A lot of yelling and cussing, and who knows what was going on. Something to do with his contract or what the rumors are about, because, of course, his contract expires. He's supposed to make his last appearance on the Raw after WrestleMania. But he walks out on Raw when he was supposed to, show up, be on TV. And then just a few days later, he ends up being with Dana White at UFC 184.
Yeah. I think Brock may try to do one more UFC thing, and if so, that's okay. We have our resident UFC fan, Amelia, who's Will and I's buddy. She lets us know a little bit more about UFC. Maybe we need to bring her on the show in some sort of capacity at some point, kind of give us a UFC update since so many things seem to intersect. But what I thought was funny out of the whole thing, now the promo, Paul did great. Paul will always do the promos great. Mentioning Ronda Rousey, mentioning UFC, all these things, which Ronda is a big, admittedly, WWE fan, trying to get that celebrity connection right before Mania. The only thing that angered me was WWE said, well, if Brock's leaving, they're going to boo him, just like when he was leaving the last WrestleMania, or his first run's last WrestleMania he was ever in with Bill Goldberg, where they booed both of them because they were leaving. And WWE thinks we're going to be behind Roman. Some will, but I can tell you right now, they'll probably just boo both performers.
Yeah. Really, I still, even if he's leaving, I think he might get some cheers because people like that little anti-authority figure. We saw the same thing when CM Punk's contract was ending and nobody knew if he was going to re-sign it, and then he ends up winning the belt and kind of came into a storyline eventually, but everybody was cheering for that bad guy just to kind of, F you, Vince, this is what you get for not taking care of your guys. And I think it could play out almost the same way as Brock Lesnar, you know?
It could, because we could see them boo both people. We could see them boo Brock, or, like you've just said, and Dave Meltzer's been saying, the world has changed, or people actually kind of like when people leave the WWE, because it makes the WWE have to think on their toes and create maybe more creative storylines. I don't know if we're going to see Brock or not, but you gave me this awesome Mania image. I love this poster, putting Brock and Roman first, but I wanted to show you this one. I don't know if you've seen this one, but this is how I feel WrestleMania is going. Give me just a second. That one.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not going there. That's a creepy picture.
Well, but look at the craftsmanship. They had to do it with Sting and Bryan and Undertaker. It looks pretty good to me. But I still have, and I've been saying this before, when it comes to the Brock and Roman fight, I'm thinking they're going to put Roman over one way or the other, and I don't care if they think we're going to cheer for one person or the other. I have nothing against Roman personally. I have no connection to him.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I was teeter-tottering for a while, and after Fastlane, he kind of won me over. I'm not a huge fan of him. You know, I'm not gonna go out there and buy his merchandise, but I fully support WWE's decision to keep running with him and pushing him. Probably get over Lesnar at Mania. I fully support it. I'm not fully invested in it. You know, I'm not a huge fan yet, but I'm a fan. He's okay. I'm just not one of those smart marks that are kind of ruining his image by just constantly trashing him. I don't think he deserves that, but yeah, is he 100% top level right now? No. Is he really good? Probably in the top 10, Sure, definitely in the top 10.
Well, what few superstars have ever been at their top peak when they got the push? Like, I mean, even if you look at Stone Cold, he wasn't quite there until he had his injury later with Owen Hart, and then he had to change his style, and he even became more of the Stone Cold we love. But when they were pushing him for King of the Ring, yes, everybody loved the Austin 316, but then beyond that, it took us a while to kind of get to the point that we liked him. Though I do feel like he has the women's appeal, like Cena did, because I know my girlfriend has no idea who Roman Reigns really is, but she likes him.
Right.
Though I wouldn't completely compare him to John Cena just yet, though I did see a brilliant comparison of him to Diesel. Not just because of the looks, because of the size, how they try to play off smooth but have a hard time with some of their promos. Like, he is kind of the next generation of Diesel.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and for me, I'm like, boy, that's a brilliant comparison. And he's kind of Vince's champion in a way. Excuse me for the phone. But I can see him winning. Do you see any situation where Brock wins?
Oh man, 9 out of 10 times I see Roman winning. 1 out of 10 I see Brock. The only way I can see that possibly happening, and I don't think Brock is this stubborn or this greedy, but maybe if he does want to re-sign a contract and they want to keep the belt with him, that might be the only thing that will make him re-sign, even if it's just till SummerSlam or something, and then maybe Roman defeats him along the way somewhere at, between then and SummerSlam. I don't know, but definitely I don't see, that's a very small chance. I think Roman's going to go over, no problem.
I do too. Though, if Vince was smart, he would have Brock win even if he didn't re-sign. Could you imagine the headlines? WWE Champion re-signs with UFC.
Mm-hmm.
That would be news for days.
Yeah, and right now there's rumors. Who knows if they're true or not? They're just rumors, but Vince and the writers are developing a backup plan just in case anything like that happens. Whether he's a no-show at WrestleMania, or maybe he's like saying, "All right, I'll be your champion. I'll re-sign with you," and then he doesn't sign. He just walks out and signs with the UFC the very next day. They're gonna have a backup plan. Vince, I think, has denied they're making a backup plan. He's sure that Brock won't screw him over, but I think that's just for image. I'm pretty sure they have a backup plan or two in the back pocket.
Well, I think it would be a good plan just to make that the plan. I mean, even pay Brock a little bit to go over to UFC for a bit. I don't know. I mean, UFC is mainstream news anymore, right? WWE isn't. And when it is, it's for something negative like Bill DeMott.
Right.
This would be great. This could be like the Punk walkout, but maybe even on a bigger scale because it's UFC.
Right.
But we'll have to wait and see. The biggest thing that happened out of Raw and into Mania is this match is getting the most stars in it than I would have ever pictured.
Yep, we got the second annual Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial. I love this match last year. Of course, we had Cesaro winning the inaugural one. It was a great finish. We all thought it was going to be Big Show, and it ended up being a great moment for Cesaro, actually picking Big Show up and throwing him over the top rope. A big moment for Cesaro's career. Unfortunately, WWE didn't capitalize on it. But it was a great match last year, and I'm looking forward to it this year. We already got 11 confirmed superstars that are in it this year.
And even Cena tried to get in it, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
I was like, okay, so we're going to try to even make it even a little bit bigger. But it looks like Daniel's in it and a few others too. And
well, we don't have Daniel quite confirmed yet, do we?
I don't think we have him quite confirmed, but he's been hinting at it. And they did put him in the IC kind of the picture, so maybe he's in the ladder match for the IC. I don't know which one he's going for yet.
Well, I got the list of the confirmed guys for the Battle Royal, and right now, as of today, we have Miz, Curtis Axel, we have Ryback, and Fandango. We also got Adam Rose, which they have a little feud going on. Zack Ryder, Swagger, Titus O'Neil, Darren Young, Big Show, and Kane.
Oh, Zack Ryder. Poor Zack Ryder.
I mean, it was Fandango and Adam Rose, and now we've got this little Twitter war and funny stuff going on between Adam Rose and Zack Ryder. It's actually pretty humorous, but So I'm sure they're going to probably eliminate each other. They're going to go at it during this battle royal. Of course, Zack Ryder doesn't stand a chance. And to win it, it'd be awesome if he did. Be a good accomplishment for him. But right now, I think they're saying there's going to be 20 guys in it. Last year, it was 31 for WrestleMania 31. I think they're only going to do 20 this year. So if that's true, we got about 9 open spots left.
Well, that's okay. I've been a big fan of the Battle Royal just because it gives people a WrestleMania check that may not normally get it.
Right.
And it's exciting. And, for like newcomers that have never seen a whole bunch of wrestling before, to see all those people in the ring at one time is a spectacle. It can kind of go a little too long sometimes, but it keeps them interested, entertained. I'm a big fan of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. But talking about Daniel Bryan, talking about everybody else, how many people do you think we're going to have for this IC ladder match?
Oh, man, I don't know, right? I mean, they're hinting at several people. We got some confirmed ones. I think it's just going to be 6. I really think it'll end off at 6. Preferably for ladder matches, that's a good number for me, is between 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we do have 5 of them confirmed. That's, of course, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth. We got Luke Harper, Dean Ambrose, and defending champion Wade Barrett. We think the next one's going to be Daniel Bryan. That might be it, but we do not know how many people are going to be in it yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for that one, too, because it's good to have a good ladder match.
That's going to be the match of the night. It is going to be the match of the night, guaranteed.
I agree. But what was funny is one of the last RAWCasts, I said, we need a ladder match, maybe tag team. And then the night after, they're like, oh, Wade Barrett, IC ladder. I'm like, well, okay. But, yeah. I mean, that works. I know they're not listening to me, but I did think that was interesting. Who would you see winning that one?
Man, that is going to be tough because that's so many of everyone's favorite superstars. It's the mid-card guys, the guys that should be getting those pushes, but they're not. They're going to steal this show. I don't know. I don't think R-Truth has a chance, but that would be awesome. I've always liked R-Truth. Of course, everyone's going to be rooting. We got Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan possibly, and we got Dolph Ziggler. It's going to be one of those 3 guys. I think Wade's going to lose the belt. I don't think he's going to retain it. I'm voting for, hopefully, a Dean Ambrose win.
I would like a Dean. I'd be fine with a Ziggy. I wouldn't be against a Daniel Bryan either, though I feel like there's other people that could elevate that title that isn't Daniel Bryan. He does have a huge fan base, but this is where I was joking in our wrestling chat last week. I feel like we've went full circle back to the 80s where the true wrestlers are the mid-cards going for the IC, and the main event is for the kids. Though you do have Cena in the U.S. title, so who knows? But I don't see Luke winning it. That's the one person I can tell you I don't see winning the IC title.
But Luke, I like Luke Harper. I really do. He's a big guy. He's really athletic. I think he puts on a great show. We've seen him in a ladder match. He put on a really good ladder match. So that's good that they added the big guy, a bigger superstar into that ladder match where all the rest of them are pretty medium-sized guys. I guess Wade Barrett's kind of big, but Luke Harper is definitely going to be, the giant of that match and the power force. It's going to be really fun to watch. We got great superstars, great abilities. Probably R-Truth the weakest of all of them as far as exciting caliber moves, but he's going to add that comedy factor to that match. R-Truth's great at that. We've seen it here playing like the little Daffy Duck character lately. Sneaking off with the belt. It's really funny. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be awesome to watch. It's going to be comedy. You're going to laugh probably a few times. it's guaranteed to be the show stealer. I think that's what they all set off to do. Maybe this is kind of worked up between Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. They were talking about stealing the show. Maybe they presented this match to Triple H and Vince.
And that could be it. I know a lot of people are hoping Dolph turns heel, but if anybody, maybe it's time for a Daniel Bryan heel turn again. I don't know. Is it too soon?
I think it's too soon for that. I think at least keep him face for another year, at least till SummerSlam.
Okay. And is Dolph too soon to turn heel?
I think Dolph can turn whenever he wants. I mean, a lot of people like him as a heel. A lot of people like him as face. I like him as a face more, but he has a great heel. I think if anyone's going to be turning anytime soon, it'll probably be Dolph Ziggler.
Okay. Well, that all turns out well. Bray still goes after Taker with lighting coffins on fire, stealing the urn now, which is very CM Punk. Do we see Taker tomorrow on Raw?
I don't think so. I think they're going to maybe keep him hidden until WrestleMania. I really think that's what they're going to go with. We don't have that confirmed, but it pretty much we know it's going to happen or something's going to happen.
I mean, it helps with the poster.
Yeah, it definitely helps with the poster that WWE put out on their website. I think he'll show up at Mania. However, I really almost have a feeling that he's going to come out as the American Badass Undertaker. I really do.
Oh, no.
Because there's more and more rumors going around that it's going to happen. I saw a poll today. It was on NoDQ.com. I checked it out. I voted for, do you think that character's going to return? And around 60-something% of the votes out of I don't know how many hundreds of votes there were already, said yes, the American Badass Taker will be the one returning.
Is that how we want Taker's possible last match to end, though? As the badass? No.
But I think if he does come back as the that biker figure, I think it's just because maybe the dead man, the Phenom, died out with the streak, and this is all he's got left to. He is immortal. He's not immortal. Lesnar proved it. So here's the mortal Taker, one that goes to the biker bars and drinks beer and all, the American Badass. That is what's left of Undertaker.
Okay, well, maybe so, and that's some really good reasoning. But me personally, nah. I know a lot of people like the American Badass. For me, that was the dark ages of Undertaker.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I was never a fan either. I absolutely despised it. I did not like that Taker at all.
I preferred the Satan Undertaker over the Badass. But even though that was,
I did not like.
though that one was super cheesy too, with the lightning effects and how is he speaking over the microphone system? Oh my gosh! It's probably because he has a little lapel hooked right here, but whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I think we'll see a video package of Taker this week.
All right, I can see maybe that, but I really think we're going to get no signs of Taker until Mania.
I would like that. I just don't know. For the casual fan, would they get it if Undertaker never showed up? Because the match isn't official for them, right? So
Right.
would the casual fan get it? I don't know if they would. We would get it, but I don't know if they would.
Of course, we would pop if he did show up, but I think that'll be a tremendous pop, even more so from those casual fans that are live at the event, Bray's in the ring, say, all right, Taker, come out, and we've been waiting for it for about a month and a half, and then finally we hear the gong, and then that place will erupt,
It's true. I told you earlier this weekend about a rumor I've been hearing that Sting wins at Mania, Taker wins at Mania, which really wouldn't help Bray much, but they and then they have one last match at WrestleMania 22 in Texas. And you said you wouldn't want that.
No, I really didn't want. I don't want Undertaker in a match this year, but I said if he did, it needed to be his last. There's no way he can perform another great WrestleMania. I mean, it's not going to be good this year. It's definitely not going to be any better next year. I think Taker should be done. I can see Sting maybe having one more match. I wouldn't necessarily want it, but he's in better health than Taker, I believe. Taker should definitely not have another match after this year.
I agree. Though we don't know what health they're in, I would prefer, since next year is finally confirmed for Dallas, Texas, and we're going to save up our money to take your respective wife and my respective girlfriend to their first WrestleMania. I would prefer to see Undertaker in the Hall of Fame in Texas.
Yeah.
I would. Now, if there was any special match that's supposed to happen in Texas, let's bring back Stone Cold for one more match. But that'd be my only wish. Though, can you imagine how much ticket prices will go up if Stone Cold confirms to be at WrestleMania? Oh,
yeah.
Crap!
You know, he keeps teasing it ever so often. He's teasing. He's getting ready for something. I think it might happen. I really think it might be. You know, it won't be a serious match. It's just gonna, you know, be one of those special appearances, and who knows, maybe another build-up. I wish it would have been CM Punk versus Austin, but we'll never get to see that. Unless Punk comes back.
I cannot see that. Not anytime soon. I think it's going to be a 10-year, maybe going to the Hall of Fame. That's what I see. But feelings are going to have to calm down. Speaking of Punk, what did you think of AJ's return?
Oh, yes, we got the return of AJ. We had a short Little Divas match. AJ was tweeting about give Divas a chance. It was trending on Twitter for almost a week. It was a big deal. She had a back and forth with Stephanie McMahon on Twitter about that. And then we see a very short match from the Bellas. Supposedly that was supposed to be a statement about that. Then AJ returned to help out Paige. She was getting double teamed on from the Bellas. We saw the return of AJ. They chased the Bellas out. She gave a promo. She even used her own hashtag, Give Divas a Chance. It was a big deal. There seems to be a big diva movement going on right now, led by AJ. I guess the other divas are, you know, behind her and really wanting to show fans and the rest of the male rosters that, hey, we are here. We can perform just as good as you. And it's a big deal. AJ returned, and she's got a story behind it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And, you know, if anything shows strong divas, it's allowing Medusa into the Hall of Fame this week.
Medusa.
Or, what was it, Blaze? Alundra
yep.
Blaze or whatever?
Yep.
Which
Blaze.
I never once saw a match, maybe one match of her as Blaze.
Mm-mm.
I know her as Medusa. That's where IGN's Matt Fowler and I are very similar. I was more of a WCW guy, so.
Well, and I wasn't that big of a WCW person, but I knew her as Medusa as well. I never really realized that she was ever called anything else, to be honest. I thought it was always Medusa.
Yeah, she was Blaze over there, and she had kind of a female Bam Bam Bigelow flame thing on her chest. I was surprised that she got in the Hall of Fame. Not that she didn't contribute a lot to the Divas in her time of WWE, which was somewhat short, but WWE and NWA, WCW. But she threw the women's title away on Nitro, and they put it in her Hall of Fame package video.
Yep. I was a little surprised too. I mean, I don't know much about her career, to be honest, but I was expecting maybe something else. I don't know who exactly. I really wish Chyna would have had that chance, but obviously not, since she's still having a little Twitter war with Triple H. But I don't know. What do you think about her induction?
I guess Vince is forgiven her or it's best for business. Maybe it's because people keep seeing her on, they're finally done with this series, but every week of the Monday Night Wars on the network. She was a great women's wrestler, and she traveled around the world, and she wasn't your typical pretty. She wasn't your typical 80s grungy-looking lady either. I don't know. For me, if this was the Wrestling Hall of Fame, I get it. But it's the WWE Hall of Fame, where she kind of degraded the title. Not that Warrior and Vince didn't have a whole bunch of stuff against him, and Rowdy Piper and many that Vince has forgiven and put him in the Hall of Fame. But I never thought I would see Medusa in the Hall of Fame. But good for her, and I'm sure that's gonna be great. I don't know who's going to induct her. Really, I don't know who's going to induct most of our stars that are going into the Hall of Fame this year.
I think it'll just be a random diva off the roster inducting her. I really do.
I could see Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We know that we have Hulk Hogan inducting Macho Man, which people were upset about, but I think that's because Lanny's going to give the speech. He's going to accept the award.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for Hogan to do that. I don't know who's going to induct Rikishi. I'm assuming the Usos.
Probably. It'll be the Usos. Maybe they bring The Rock in for that. Who knows?
For the Bushwhackers, I don't know who you would induct them.
Yeah, I don't know who will do that one either.
Do you remember their wimpy manager they had for a few weeks, and then they got rid of him? I think his name was Marvin or something. He had big glasses and he had an alfalfa deal, and he tried to do the Bushwhacker thing. It would last for 2 weeks. That would make me happy if he. Yeah, there you go. It didn't switch to you, so I didn't get to see your wonderful Bushwhacker dance.
It's fine.
Oh, darn it! Oh, darn it! And then who else? And then whoever Medusa, and that's all we know. And Arnold.
We got Arnold, which will probably be Triple H, I'm assuming.
Or Bruno comes back.
Or Bruno. Of course, this weekend they're having the big Arnold Festival, whatever they call that.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold Sports Hall of Fame, and Triple H got inducted. He got put into that Hall of Fame. So WWE. Yep. WWE was there. There was actually matches there they put on. There was a WWE ring set up there. Mostly NXT people were performing. I saw the Vaudevillains, for example. They came out doing the bodybuilding poses and stuff. Pretty comical because that's what this whole event is. It's a bunch of bodybuilders. But yeah, WWE was there and making a statement. They had banners all over the place. Triple H got inducted. Lots of Triple H and Arnold press photographs being taken. It was a pretty big deal. So I think Triple H might be the one inducting Arnold when it comes to the WWE Hall of Fame.
Well, now that I know that, I think that's very possible. I didn't know that happened, but power to Triple H, I guess. Though, if I was a weightlifter, wouldn't I be a little offended that they have WWE there? I don't know. That's just me. But, I mean, a lot of them have joined, so, I mean, it's all good. Well, we'll talk a little bit that happened. I mean, he got highlighted on Raw, but it's really more about the WWE Network, about Booker T's sentence to greatness, WWE's 24, the second episode of WWE 24, which feels like an ESPN 30 or a 60. Really good format. The Will and I were discussing before we went live, we weren't sure if Booker T got hired back after Raw.
I don't know. Triple H, is a storyline, fires Booker T from commentary, which has only been there for a couple months. But he fires him commentary just to make a statement to Sting that this is what real power is. You don't know what power is. I have authoritative power. Here's my chance to prove it. Booker T, you're fired. And I don't know. You were talking about you thought he was rehired. I didn't think he was rehired, so I don't know exactly what's going on with that storyline.
we'll have to see. I know you haven't had a chance to see this Booker T, basically ESPN 60 special, but it's done a little bit different than most of their documentaries. It feels a lot like ESPN because they'll fade to black and they'll have type talking about stuff, and then they'll go back to what's going on. But maybe this is WWE's answer to not putting out as many DVDs anymore, because before this, there was talk of a Booker T DVD, and I think that's been squashed by this special. My only question that I had after watching this documentary is there's scenes of him driving a bus down from Raw to the next location. And my only question is, whose bus is that? Did he get hired by a wrestler to drive the bus? Does he drive the referee's bus? Is this the announcer bus? But it cracked me up because, like, there were several times you see him driving in the highway late at night talking to the camera about his life. And it's clearly a bus. So I was like, wow, so I guess when you're a commentator, you're also on bus duty, which I thought was interesting.
So, I'd be awesome if the commentators did have their own bus, like all of them together.
I don't know. I know the referees have a bus, and I don't know if the commentators get to share that referee bus or how that goes. I don't know the busing system. I just know the referees have a bus because Chris Jericho has talked about getting drunk on the referee bus once. But I don't know. So I just thought it was interesting. It looks like you have to have a double job. Though he did show that they showed him like some B-roll of him prepping at home and prepping on the bus and prepping in the locker room with a notepad to be ready for his announcing. Now, I know when Mick Foley was a color commentator, he did do quite a bit of research. He talks about it. But I would have never thought Booker had to do research for, did you see that? And shucky ducky quack quack.
Yeah. What was it? I was watching something. I can't remember what it was the other time, but they were talking and that shucky ducky, like he forgot to say it, and then Renee was like, oh, you forgot to say your no shucky duckies? And he's like, oh, really? Shucky ducky quack quack. He said it real quick. It was hilarious the way he said it. Like the other guys on the panel just died out laughing as well.
Yeah, that was the pre-show to Fastlane.
There you go.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I love Booker. I always have. I liked him when he was Harlem. They talked about some of the stuff with his brother, which we knew was Stevie Ray. His real name is Lash, which that I think sounds like a cooler wrestling name than Stevie Ray. You know, yeah. But whatever. But apparently they hadn't made up until Booker T went into the Hall of Fame in 2011, which they hadn't talked for about 6 years prior, and I think it came down to Booker T opening a wrestling school, is from what they kind of hint at. But they talk a little bit about how he met his wife, his children, which I didn't know he had twins. I knew he had 2 kids, but they're twins.
I didn't know that. No.
They're twins. The little girl, she's super active. The little boy keeps his eyes closed like this the entire time, keeps his lips out like this. And like Booker keeps trying to talk to him, and he just says, so I'm like, okay. But they're both 4, at least when they filmed this. So that was interesting. Some really good interviews, some good insight. But it's not your typical WWE documentary. And if they're going to keep these, this could be a really good way to possibly get some documentaries on people that aren't really worthy of DVDs necessarily. Not that Booker isn't, but I don't think it would have sold as well.
Yeah.
And so maybe get some mid-card guys that are there and highlight their career. Like, for an example, Finley would be a good one.
Yeah.
Because in Booker's, they show some stuff when he started in Global Wrestling, which was a small ESPN promotion that tried to take over the Sportarium in Dallas before it got torn down in the early 90s. That was kind of interesting to see. And they even credited with a picture and sound audio Mark Madden for naming the Spinneroonie.
Nice.
That will probably be the only time his whole mug was on the WWE Network.
I think a nice one would be not necessarily an in-ring wrestler, but I think a good one would be Lil Nate. I think there'd be a nice one for a referee.
That would be cool.
By far the most recognizable WWE referee.
And they could easily follow him for a day and make that part of the documentary.
I think Charles would appreciate it too, to be honest.
I think that would be a good thing. Also, some of their announcers, that could be good. Until they fired him, the timekeeper that had been there for 26 years and was Steve Austin's best friend. Even Fink, if they wanted to do Fink, I think that would be cool. Maybe this would be a great time to talk about Pat Patterson, because he's never going to get a DVD.
Right.
And, as much as it kind of pained me, they would probably use it to say, hey, look, we're not homophobic.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay.
So, this definitely should be used to show those lower, the lower on the totem pole guys, the guys that often get forgotten or maybe don't have that star power to get the full release of a DVD special. I think definitely this is the route to go. I saw the USO one. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the Booker T one. I plan on maybe watching that tonight or tomorrow.
Did you see the first 24, the one of Wrestlemania?
Yep, I saw that one as well.
That one was a good one too.
A lot of behind-the-scenes footage of everything. It was really cool.
The only thing I didn't like is they kept teasing the "I need some help back here" for the Undertaker, but then they didn't really even discuss it afterwards.
Right.
Well, I guess he wasn't good. So who knows? That one was a little disappointing, but that's okay. Right. But they did do a lot of Connor the Crusher. So we'll wrap it up real quickly. What do you most want to see on Raw tomorrow?
Well, we are 3 weeks away from WrestleMania today. 3 weeks. We got 21 days. So we got 3 Raws, 3 SmackDowns to really develop any kind of storylines. We still don't have anything officially going on between Randy and Seth Rollins. If that's going to be a match, it needs to be set up because Randy still has not fully turned heel. He's still kind of playing with the Authority. There's a little, you can tell he doesn't really know if he belongs there. Something's going on. They're not really being clear with it. But I think I want to see a Seth Rollins and Randy Orton development happen. If they plan on having a match, it needs to really start. You got 3 weeks left to really build up some heat between the two of them.
They're waiting. They're teasing us with this slow turn with Randy, and it's exciting to watch. Which is something odd for me to say. I've always liked Randy Orton, but I've thought most of his stuff is rather boring. Other than which they still talk about it because it was so exciting. But either his Legend Killer or when he handcuffed Stephanie to the ring post and stuff, or Hunter to the ring post and knocked out Stephanie rather. But this is kind of exciting, and it could be a nice WrestleMania moment. Not that he hasn't already had one, but for Seth.
Right.
And
what do you want to see happen on Raw?
I would like a Taker. If I can't get a Taker, which I might not, because didn't Bray steal the urn? Wasn't that on SmackDown or was that on Raw? I'm forgetting.
I honestly can't remember either. I didn't get a chance to even watch SmackDown this week, to be honest.
So I think it was on SmackDown, and if so, that means that's what they're gonna highlight on. But I would like to see something other than Triple H saying, "Sting, look what I can do." I would love Sting to come out, or a video package or something, saying, "This is just between you and me. It has nothing to do with WCW and old WWF, WWE. This is just about you and me, and here's why." But I don't know. I will say, though, WWE's been doing a great job of putting Sting merchandise on the shop. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. There's like 9 shirts. And then beyond that, I know we'll see some Cena stuff, but I will.
Question. Will Sheamus return? We still haven't gotten that yet.
I think so, and that was where I was going to end. I think we'll see Sheamus, and I don't know if we're going to see him say he's going to be in the Andre, or is he going to get into the IC picture and maybe Brogue kick someone and then take the belt and just walk off stage? Because I would enjoy that.
All right, I think, I think he's going to come back and be in the Battle Royal. I do.
You think?
I think that's where they're going to go with him, just because, that sets up more of not a strong feud, but if he goes towards the IC belt, it's kind of, I think there needs to be some kind of a feud along, who knows, and if they really are turning him heel for his return, I don't think it's enough time to really establish him as a heel character. So make him do heelish things up until the Battle Royal. After Battle Royal, whether he win or lose, probably it'd be awesome if they really want to push him for him to win it. Then he goes on to do, start building up some heat with somebody such as Cena for the United States Championship or something.
And that is a very, very plausible and very well thought out theory. Though I think he could get just as much as heat knocking out this guy. Just one kick. Yep. And he's going to get the booze.
If Daniel Bryan is in that the Intercontinental match, ladder match, and Sheamus decides to be in there as well, I think that's the best route to go. Whether Sheamus win or lose, he'll basically be the one to take Daniel Bryan out of that. Right when Daniel's, within grasp of winning it, something horrible happens and Sheamus takes him down. Maybe even helps Bray Wyatt get up and puts Bray Wyatt up to the top of the ladder and just kind of keeps beating on Daniel Bryan. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. It'll be exciting. You can always follow us on Twitter. Flash your Twitter, sir.
There you go.
Mine. Yay! Right there. Okie dokie. And would you like to say your goodbyes?
I will say goodbye. Have a good Raw tomorrow, everybody. Looks like I said, we got 3 weeks, 3 Raws left until WrestleMania 32 on March 29th.
There we go. The woo-woo-woo of him right there. Alrighty. We'll see ya. Have a great week. And remember, we'll see you later.